take me just 1 second here and we'll be getting started right away. I think we should be live on Facebook. Hi everybody, welcome to our weekly videos. I'm Sami Abu Saad, Director of Education at T3 Live. Another weekly video. We're going to talk about the market and we're going to talk about some swing ideas for next week. But before we start, as always, a standard required disclaimer to let you know that trading is risky and that whatever we discuss today is for educational purposes only. So make sure you agree to that before proceeding with the video. A free ebook, my own free ebook, if you'd like to download it, link for that is in the description. Link for it is in the description. But with that said, and without further ado, let's go ahead and turn on the charts and get going. We got a lot to, actually we don't have a lot to cover, but we have an important market update. If you find benefit in today's video, I would really appreciate it if you hit the like button. That helps support our channel here at T3 Live. First, we'll talk about the market. The market broke down and it appears to have topped out for now at least, okay? Now, it's not an easy call because we never really got a sustainable bounce. Usually, before I call a market top, I like to get some kind of a bounce, and then once the bounce fails, then you know for sure that it topped. Did we get a bounce here? Sure. Did we even make a higher high right the second day? Not really. The SPY did have a nicer bounce, and the SPY was above the 20 MA on the daily chart, only to get sold, right? On Thursday and Friday. So it does look like we topped out. Now, the next target area on the SPY would be the prior pivot low, which is around 368.30. Okay. The next area after that, who knows? I mean, after this, we would have plenty of room to fall. We would be in an all-out downtrend with lower highs, lower lows, probably by that time, because this is already a lower high, right? We broke under this pivot, that's already a lower low. But this was not a significant pivot. A significant pivot is when we make a new high, and then if the pivot fails, then you're in a bearish market, basically. So this was not a significant pivot. At the same time, again, I do think the market probably topped out. We'll find out in the next day or two, probably in the next couple days. If you look at the monthly chart, we have room on the SPY to about here, which is about 340, I think, 330 in fact, about 330. The Qs, which is right now weaker but more extended on the monthly chart, has room to about 267, maybe 270, and this is gonna be March 1st, tomorrow. So this is a pretty big topping tail. Show me a topping tail on this chart that looks bigger than this. I don't think we have any that's bigger than this. So if we break under 310 tomorrow or the next couple of days, we will probably likely follow through to the downside. Most likely. It would be easier if we got a bounce right here off the rising 20 on the weekly chart, and if the bounce fails, if the bulls fail to take us back to the prior high, and the bears show up and the pivot here or the move up gets sold, then it would be a much easier call about the market. But for now, the market does appear to have topped out. Okay, so with that said, if you've been playing long a lot, which I have, you have to be a lot more careful, a lot more nimble. You have to only play things that are on their own page, maybe in sectors that are not as affected by the market itself, like oil hasn't really been affected by the market very much. I have RES as a long. It's a newsletter play. It's oil. They're on the list for tomorrow. For tomorrow, MTDR is oil, just all out bullish, right? So you have to kind of focus on things that maybe are on their own page. Fold is on its own page. It's very weak, but it just doesn't care. It's not tracking the market, is my point. So okay, so that's what you have to focus on going forward. If you'd like to just copy this list, I dropped I copied and pasted it into the description of the video, so just scroll down to the bottom, copy it, paste it into your watch list, and let's go over it together. Okay, let's go over it together. The BKEP has been an open position since this day on the breakout, so it's still holding up okay. On the hourly chart, we would need to take out this bar's high, which is 235. I have it already. I'm not gonna add to it, but over 235 looks higher still, in my opinion. This is a monthly transition A on the BKEP, monthly transition A. Fold is, I play these a lot when the stock is down a lot, gaps down, and then bottoms. And so I play the breakout basically. We did this on the EH. No, was it EHTH? EHTH, not EH. EHTH. Stock gap down, had a huge sell-off, and look at the hourly base breakout that we got. There it is. Beautiful. Got to target in 2-3 days. It only took 2-3 days to get to target. We exited somewhere here, and then it's actually back up. Looks higher, but at any rate, fold. Oh, and fold is like blue, which I passed on last week. See the blue gap down, and then this is what I call the gap fade strategy. It's one of the strategies that I do in the strategic swing trader newsletter. And so this one I passed on, but fold looks pretty good. Over the base, stop under 1160 or so, target about 14 bucks. Okay, so I like it, not bad. MHLD is another open position too. It's a monthly transition A breakout like the BKEP. This is MHLD, BKEP. And then I like it higher over 280. Okay, stop would be under 255. Can also put the stop under 245. That's safer. MTDR is oil. Doesn't really have a setup in particular. Doesn't have a tight base, but it's just really bullish. So I'm going to be watching it over the coming days. OMI, by the way, USO might have topped. I got out of USO way too soon. I made a mistake. I got out of it here. And, you know, sometimes you make a mistake. We're not gods, right? We make mistakes. We get out too soon. Okay, get back in it, which I didn't. You know, gapped up, and then look at this. So just continued higher, way up. So I made a mistake on USO, but it might have topped. We had that reversal bar, finally, or a doji bar. We might have topped, so be careful with oil. I do have the RES, okay, and so MTDR I'm going to be watching. OMI is, oh my god, I mean, this is bullish. Gapped up, got bought, basing at the highs, looks higher, over 34.70. Stop under the base, which is about 32.15. And I don't know what the target is for it. I mean, it's just this stock is hot. 40 bucks, pretty much 40 bucks on the OMI. Igniting gap, PRTK is a transition A breakout on the monthly chart. See it? It already happened, it already triggered, but I'm not in it. I like it over 796. Stop under 692. So it's about $1.05 on the PRTK, and it would be a longer term hold to about the prior resistance area, about 12 bucks. So it wouldn't be, you know, a bad 40% move, pretty much. No, from 7-8 bucks to 12. Yeah, about 50%. SSTK is a daily pullback, very bullish like the OMI. Already worked out, already moved up, and now has a pullback. It's not at the 20. So I'm passing, but it looks okay. If you're a subscriber to my Strategic Swing Trader newsletter, then you can log on to your T3 Live account and see which two plays I picked for my own account and for the newsletter for tomorrow. So feel free to log on right now or wait until tomorrow morning, and the email should hit your inbox by before 8 o'clock East Coast time. The shorts, this thing is very, very bearish. 20 MA is still flat. I like it when the 20 starts to point down, but it certainly looks lower. We have an unfilled gap above right here, 200 above, 20 MA is above, so I like it short under the base, okay? But I'm waiting for it to base for a couple more days so that the 20 catches up. Sometimes they go, you know, you wait for them, they don't wait for you. So, you know, you have to decide whether it's good enough to pull the trigger or not. BNGO is weak, looks slower, under 938. Okay, if you look at the hourly chart, not a very tight base, not a very tight pattern, but would be under 938, stop over 1070. Again, from this entire list, the bullish and the bearish list, I only picked 2 plays for tomorrow. EBIX had a igniting gap from the 20 MA on the daily chart, really bearish, and is basing at the lows. So I like it under the base, stop above it. Okay, under the low there, I don't know what the exact low is, 22.72. Stop would be to over 26.50. It's a pretty big stop. EPZM, I passed on it on Thursdays when I should have taken it. Base breakdown, but I passed. Wasn't too sure about the market on Thursday, especially Thursday. You want to see why exactly? Because on Thursday, no, I'm sorry, on Wednesday, the SPY, after gapping down, went way back up and reclaimed the 20. So I thought, wow, I thought we topped out on this day, because the Qs looked very toppy. And then the next day, the SPY looked really bullish, only to get clobbered on Thursday and Friday. So I passed on the EPZM because on Wednesday, which is when I needed to decide whether to take this or not, the market really looked bullish. So Thursday triggered, right? And it still looks lower though. You know, this reminds me of last week. I had only 2 items on the bearish list. I had Tesla, which congratulations if you did. This was my best trade in my TradeStation account in 2021. 75 shares only, from 780 to the bottom to 622 or so is where I covered it. The bottom, which was the 10 o'clock reversal time on Tuesday. So I had Tesla short, and I had also Zillow short, and I got the bottom, but they're continuing lower now. So Tesla was, I think, my best trade. 75 shares made over $11,000. Okay, I had it on last week's list. I only had Tesla and Voyager, which is an open play already. Still an open play, VYGR. So this is pretty nice. I had it on last week's video. Only 2 bearish items, Voyager and Tesla. Tesla we closed out of, and it was a good exit. It rallied like from $200 and something, from 619 to 745. Huge, but it still actually looks slower. I have it on the list also for tomorrow. So Tesla looks slower still. And tell you the truth, this was my target, about 650, but it got to 619, the weekly 20 MA. If Tesla, breaks it, I mean, I don't mean just like it already broke it, but not on a closing basis. I just mean if we get a weekly buy setup and the weekly buy setup fails, where's the next target on Tesla? I kid you not, it's this base, which is around 450 or so, $400 maybe, on Tesla. So only time will tell. I don't have a position in it anymore, but this was my nicest trade for 2021 in my TradeStation account, not in some of the other account, like not in my E-Trade account, right? Sandal would be the nicest, obviously, right? But at any rate, so, and actually Tesla is my worst trade in this account. It's so funny because I tried it too many times and I had huge size. We're talking, so this is my E-Trade account, right? I believe it's the worst by far in this account. See, it's by far the worst, 9K. But again, I tried it multiple times. One time I had 250 shares. That's huge. And it didn't work. So, that's my worst trade by far in this account. And then the next worst is only 3K, which is not bad when, you've had trades that made 67K, Sandal. This was, taken multiple times. ZOM, still, pretty good. I mean, for scalping and trading, it's 52. That's my number 2 trade. So as you can see, for the first 2 months of the year, that's not bad at all. And last week was my slowest because I had the mentorship and I had to teach the entire week non-stop, 34 students, I think. But I still made 30K, I think. But on average, if you do the average, I think my average has been over about 60 or 64 up until last week. But still 30 something, so that was good. At any rate, so Tesla has been love-hate, kind of, depending on which account you look at. But I still like it. I think it still looks slower. So that's BNGO. EBIX we talked about. EPZM we talked about. IRDM, looks really weak to the 200 on the daily chart. So under the base, stop above it. Looks good. It's not a tight base. I always look for tight bases or sell setups, right? Or 1, 2, 3 patterns. So if I'm gonna play a stock as a base breakdown, I want the base to be pretty tight. So it's not a very tight base. KPTI also passed on Friday is when I should have gotten in it. So KPTI, I played it 2 or 3 times already as a monthly buy setup, this buy setup. It never worked. And both, I believe twice, both times it was nicely in the money, in my favor, only to give it back, like, you know, it would gap down. Or this day, I got out of it this day because it was reporting earnings, and that's just too bearish into earnings. So I killed it that day. So I don't know if this lost anything the last time I played it, but the point is, this was a buy setup on the monthly that's now failing. Probably should have gotten in it on Friday. But it still looks lower. Look at this base. The bigger the top, the bigger the drop, right? Look at this, guys. I'm just zooming out to show you how big of a base that I tried to play long twice, if not 3 times, and it didn't work. Guess what? This is lower. I feel pretty confident that this is going to be lower to maybe $10 and maybe even to $5. The market also cooperates if this is a true top in the market. So this should be lower. KPTI. The right entry was on Friday, but didn't pull the trigger. Okay, because I thought it's so sloppy and whatever my reason is. Didn't pull the trigger. So short is down a lot, but stop and hold it. I would hold it to $10 at least, minimum, maybe 5 for target 2. LLIT, it looks like it's rolling over. I don't have a great list, bearish list especially, because a lot of it is just sloppy stuff because of the market. The market went from a very high odds market to a choppy, sloppy market environment with not much follow through right now. So you have to be very careful. That's why for the first time in I don't know how many days, weeks, I'm only taking 2 plays on tomorrow, Monday. But recently I've been taking a dozen plays a day, and they've been working nicely. But right now you have to wait for the market to settle down and give us kind of a clearer picture, right? So this would be under $8 short, stop over 865. PROG is building a nice big base. Short under the base, stop above it. Let's take a look at the weekly chart. Kind of a weekly sell setup, isn't it? So just under the base right here, under 525, stop 618. The only issue that I see is, you know, the support below right here at 467. That's not a lot of room before it gets to support. And then the ultimate target would be the prior pivot low around $3, 3 something. SDH is just all out bearish. It's just all out bearish. We have a lot of these that are just recent IPOs, and then they're continuing lower, or recent SPAC stocks that are just really, really bearish. And Tesla we talked about. I still like it lower under 659, 5950 stop. I would say 707, and then maybe for target 1, 619. Target 2, about 500. I would say 450 even on Tesla. But we'll see. I'm not ready to get back in it. We'll see. At any rate, I hope you enjoyed this video. And again, if you want to help support the channel, be sure to hit the like button. I'm doing a free webinar on Thursday. I'm sure if you're a subscriber to T3 Live, I'm sure you've received an email about it. I look forward to presenting some amazing information for you on Thursday, so be sure to join me then. And until then, have a great week, and I will talk to you soon. Take care, everybody. Thanks for watching.